What's going on, everybody? It's the Brownwater Banter podcast show. My name is Joey Cakes. Behind the camera is Jared Seymour. And with us today is Mr. King Conn.
Hey,
King, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, doing good.
Good. How's it going?
Appreciate you coming on in here at Deathport's Kitchen here today.
Yeah, you got something smelling good over there.
Oh man, we got a wonderful red snapper dish here today. A lot of people down south call it pork bouillon, and that's what I called it when I was a kid a lot. But you know, it's actually coubillon. It's a French word.
Right.
It means a slow boil. So and that's what we're doing. We got the red snapper here, and we just sauteing up some of the Trinity, the vegetables, all the goodness that's going to go in to make that broth when we put this fresh red snapper into the pot.
Well, that'll work. Well, Mr. Ken is the CEO of Justin Wilson Southern Products. That's him. You see outside, we got the trailer outside, we got the Corvette outside. Mr. Ken, Justin Wilson, if my memory is correct, my grandfather always used to sit me down in front of a TV. Now I remember this old fella with the red suspenders on, always drinking wine, making Cajun stuff. How y'all are, and I guarantee, but I think there's a myth going around about Mr. Justin Wilson.
Well, we get this a lot. A lot of people think he was from Arkansas. Some people even come up to us when we're doing the Rouse's demos and say, oh, he's from New York. And we're like, no, actually, Justin was born in Roseland, Louisiana, right outside of A-Meat. A-Meat in Roseland is Gulfport is closer, than that. It's just right there. And he raised in A-Meat, Louisiana, born in Roseland, Louisiana. So he's a true Louisianan. He's a true Cajun. And A-Meat famous for the Oyster Festival and the oysters there. And that's where Justin's from. It ain't New York. It ain't Canada. It ain't Mississippi. Now, he did live for a short time in Summit, Mississippi.
Right.
Because when we took over the company, we got a lot of his old products and stuff. And some of the mailing addresses actually was to Summit, Mississippi. So he had a house there. But that doesn't mean that's where he's from.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit how the company kind of came in your hands and how you acquired it and all that.
Well, it's like everything when you're growing up as a kid, especially down south, we always say, look, we grew up watching Justin Wilson on TV by proxy because, I was born in the early 70s. I may look like I was born in the 90s, but I'm a 70s kid.
Right.
And I grew up watching Justin Wilson sitting on the couch with every time cartoons would end, Justin would pop up on the TV. And a lot of times I'm not done with my cereal.
Right.
And so you just sit there and you watch Justin on the TV and he's up there, he's cooking. He reminded me of my grandma. I couldn't barely make a bowl of cereal when I was watching Justin on TV back in the days. And I never thought I'd be in this position and working with the Justin products and the legend himself at this level. But we did a TV show in New York City called Cajun in the City, and we needed an authentic person to work with us. Unfortunately, Justin had already passed away, and so we got a hold of the family and the current owners of the holding company, and they gave us permission to start using his likeness, his videos, and we incorporated a lot of his shows in with Cajun in the City. And I spun off of Justin, even though he was gone. We televised Justin up in the corner, and then I started cooking, and I would cook a lot of his recipes on the show, paying homage to Justin Wilson. And we did a pretty good job. We ran for 3 seasons up there, Cajun in the City, and the family says after the series ended, they said, look, why don't you buy the entire company, take it over. We don't think it needs to go in anybody else's hands. I wasn't thinking about it, and I was like, well, I don't think I can handle something like that. Definitely couldn't do it by myself.
Right.
And it was a pretty big endeavor. So came back home, we put a team together, and me and my partners, and we bought the entire brand, the licensing, everything Justin Wilson comes from us. We are behind it. We're the one pushing it on the shelves. We're the one who's making the product. Everything Justin Wilson is us. We're very, very proud of it.
Right.
And it took us many years to get the brand to where it is now. You see it on the shelf. You see it in Rouse's. You see it here at Deathport's. You see it everywhere. Yep. That's because we got boots on the ground. Our team is just diligently working hard, making Justin a household name again, where he belongs. Nobody, when you go into a house in America and there's Creole and Cajun seasoning, my golly, we want to have Justin on the table.
I got some at my house, no doubt.
How you like it? Which
That
one's
was
your
good.
favorite?
I have the habanero.
Oh, this now.
The shape.
Now that habanero, keep in mind, this habanero is the only Cajun certified habanero made in the nation. I guarantee.
That's what
And I
it's
tell
at.
people, I'm like, Google it, and all you can Google when you find new habanero Cajun, there's a habanero pepper sauce on the market.
Right.
But no one's doing a habanero Cajun seasoning, and I tell you what, that is one balanced blend. It's 7% sodium with high flavor. The habanero pepper is a very hard pepper to work with, and it took many months to get this recipe right. Now keep in mind, if you're a great fan of the habanero, it comes from the original.
Justin.
We took the original and we jacked it up, keeping the sodium at the level of where it is, but jacking up all those flavors. So it's not just hot, it's flavorful, and it's great to cook with. Chefs all across the nation love cooking with the habanero when they want to add that extra kick without making it so hot that people can't stand it.
Well, that's one of y'all's big things, right? The lower salt. That's one of the things that y'all push, right?
That's correct. You know, before we went into the Cajun food business, we said, you know, let's not be like everybody else. I'm not going to say any names, but I know there's one name that comes to mind, and it ain't nothing but salt.
Right.
And it's good when you need salt, but we wanted to be something different. Now, these products cost more to manufacture because they have more ingredients in them, so and less salt.
Right.
But we said, let's be something different. Let's have great flavor, no MSG, certified Cajun, gluten-free certified, and less salt, more flavor. That way chefs across the nation can actually cook with this. And if it's good for chefs in the home, it's good for you at the house.
Right. Now, these products, you got pickles, you got hot sauce, you got shakes, you got marinades, you got all forms and packages and all kinds of stuff, right?
We have 5 products currently on the market right now, Joey. We have a wing sauce, which is made with natural butter. We have this gourmet Louisiana pepper sauce, which is made with 2 types of aged peppers. And we have these pickles, which is very, very special. This pickle recipe is the original Wicked pickle recipe. Back in the 90s, Wicked pickles, Cajun pickles came to market. Justin was the first manufacturer back then to actually do this type of pickle.
Right.
And it was a #1 selling product back then. It was in Kroger, it was in Walmart, it was across the nation. And this is a thick sliced, crunchy pickle with a nice kick. It's a semi-sweet pickle. People say, I don't like sweet pickles.
Right.
And have you had the pickles?
I've had one.
Okay.
Because that was the last one in the jar.
That was the
That was
last
the last one in the
So,
jar.
so
They were good. They were
there's
delicious.
no pickle on the market
Right.
like it. I'm not just saying that, but I am partial,
Yeah,
of course.
of course.
But I tell you what, I'll put this pickle up against anybody's pickle. And I tell you what, when you put our pickle in your mouth, ooh, I guarantee
Guaranteed.
it's
I
going to
hear
be
you.
some good stuff. Crunchy, sweet, savory with a nice kick. You talk about making a blue ribbon potato salad. These pickles do the job. We just shipped, now this is a true story. We just shipped 3 cases to New York City, I think we did about 2 weeks ago. We sent, we got a studio audience here too, so,
Yeah.
in
the back.
In the back. We shipped out
We
3
love you,
cases.
Justin.
That's it. We shipped out 3 cases to New York City because New York says chips are not food and chicken's not food, and Cuomo did not like the idea of having Cuomo chips on the menu. So this nice boutique bar that does cheese and wine and pickles ordered 3 cases and we shipped them up there, and now she's able to keep her doors open because she's serving food products, which is our pickles, and they are eating them up.
I bet it's a whole different kick up there when they open the can.
It really is.
Now, all these products made in Louisiana, right?
Yes, all of our products are made in our factories in Louisiana. We, St. Martinville and Opelousas handles our dry rubs and our wet. We got 3 different factories. Different factories do different things, and they have our recipes and they make our products. They co-pack for us, and they ship it all across the nation for us, or we go there and pick it up, bring it to our local secret distribution warehouse located here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Most people don't realize that. It's not open to the public.
Right.
It is a holding facility down here on the coast because it's centrally located. We're right down the road from Florida. We're right down the road from New Orleans. We got all points in between. Louisiana's right next door. Alabama and the Rouse's franchise is actually hitting Florida here in about a year or two. They're gonna have some stores over in Florida. So we think we're centrally located and we like it. But all products are certified Cajun by the Louisiana Department of Agriculture. There's this little symbol on these cans here, Joey, right here.
Let's see it.
That's just not a fancy little state, a little made-up thing. You know, we pay to have these products certified in order to use that seal.
Right.
So when you're shopping for Cajun products and certified Louisiana products, we ask that you look for the seal, because what that means is that these are certified Cajun products. Anybody's products that have this seal is like us. That means it's made in Louisiana and it's tried, true, and tested. So if it don't have the seal, it may not be a certified Cajun product.
Right. Well, this thing right here, what you got going on is smelling good, Mr. Ken. Why don't you tell us a little about what you got going on?
Well, today we are doing seafood, what I call a seafood court bouillon, which that is not the way to say it, but down south and how we tear up all the language and everything. That's what I've always called it, but it's actually a French word called coubillon, and it's a slow boil. Over here in this pot, I have the slow boil juices marinating, and I'm cooking the Trinity, the peppers, the onion, the celery, everything, and then I'm going to dump it over here. I'm going to start cooking down and filleting out the red snapper. Okay. This is a fresh red snapper fillet I got right here from my good friends here at Deathport.
I was about to say.
And right here behind you,
this is
now
stud.
this right here. Now this is the stud. Look at that.
That is a fish.
Woo! Now that's what we cooking here today. I hope this is the right fish, because if it's not, I'm going to really get beat up online. But look at that.
That's it.
You know? And there he is right there. Look at him. All right. But that is the fish we're cooking today. It's a Mississippi Gulf Coast fish. It's local to the waters. I grew up on it. And you get fresh fillets.
Right here.
Mini fish right here at Deathport. So that's what we're cooking. We're cooking a seafood snapper coubillon. And also I got some fresh shrimp here and just throw it in there. Now keep in mind the recipe that I'm doing today, Joey, is from the Gourmand cookbook, which we produce for the Justin Wilson brand. We have Easy Cooking. We got the Gourmand cookbook here. And the recipe for this, Justin's recipe, is in this cookbook. Awesome. So if you like what you see here today, you can order the cookbooks. You can get the products at justinwilson.com. It's so easy. Or you can come here to Deathport and get some. You go to Rouse's and other local merchants here on the Gulf Coast,
right?
You know, including a lot in Louisiana. But just Google it and you can find a place that has it there. So that's what we're cooking. It's red snapper coubillon with a little bit of shrimp sauce.
Now this isn't your first stint in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, actually, yes, it is. This is my first live cooking show.
Very first time,
very first time. And I might need some help here with a lot of this stuff.
What's your background in cooking?
Oh man, it goes way back. You know, it started, like I said, it started on the couch watching Justin Wilson as a kid, like it did so many other people.
Correct.
And I just grew up loving to cook. All of my families were cooks. I don't call myself a chef. You know, I feel like I'm like Justin. I'm just a damn good cook.
Right.
And that's what he called himself. You know, but the definition of chef is master of the kitchen.
Right.
So if you're in charge of your kitchen, you are the chef. So, but I just like to be called a damn good cook.
That's right.
And,
that's what everybody wants to do.
I started cooking at home. I cooked my first steak on the grill up in Mississippi when I was 7 years old, because my dad, we were having a party, and he's not going to be happy with this, but he don't look at the internet anyway. I think he got a little over indulged in some beverages,
right.
And we were having steaks, and he fell asleep, and the steaks were sitting there beside the grill, and the grill was hot. I'm going, man, if he don't cook these steaks, the fire's going to go out.
Right.
So I threw them on the grill, and I cooked those steaks and woke my dad up and said, hey, dinner's ready. And that's how I learned how to cook by fire.
That's awesome.
You know, and I've been cooking ever since. I love it. Grew up on a catfish farm, so always had fresh fish and deer meat and wild game and squirrel and turtle. Seafood down here from the coast, right. The shrimp, I love it all. Fresh oysters on the half shell, You name it, seafood, I will eat it and cook it.
I think everybody in this room will.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we got a good audience here today. They love some good food.
It's smelling good for sure. Now I see over here to the right, I see a Justin Wilson staple, right? He was always a wine man when he cooked.
Yes. What we've done, we actually have the first Justin Wilson Blanc du Bois wine, which is right here. This wine right here, Joey. This is a Blanc du Bois wine. And it's from our good friends up in West Monroe, Louisiana, at Landry Vineyards. They produce the wine for us. They grow the grapes for us, and they bottle it. And it's distributed only in Louisiana right now, but we're working to get it distributed in some of the other markets, especially down here.
Really?
It's a French European grape,
Right.
and it's a semi-sweet, semi-dry, settled wine. And this wine is designed to cook with, and of course, to drink.
I was going to ask that question because usually on the show he's drinking and cooking with the same glass of wine.
Try that there. I know it's Corona season, but hey, you know we cooking and loving and having a good time. Is that not good?
And I usually don't really like a white wine, but that's good.
This is one of the best white wines I've had actually, and I love cooking with it. If I don't drink it all, I have something to cook with. But Justin always cooks with wine. He got a red and a white there in his shows. And we got a red being produced, the grapes are being grown. When we get done distributing out the white wine, we're going to go into the red.
Okay.
And that's really good stuff. So, yeah, the wine is a staple. We said, Justin always had wine, so we had to produce a wine.
Right.
So.
That's how I remember that little wine glass he used to have. He filled it up 2, 3, 4 times during an episode.
That's right, he did. And he loved drinking his wine. And I think he drank more wine than he actually cooked. So he always says, you remember Justin what he said? He always said when he was cooking with the wine, he says, now always remember, you don't cook with a wine you won't drink.
Right.
So we produce this wine here that's drinkable and you can cook with it. So it's a trooper.
Right.
I
remember that the little mower stands where you pour a little wine, drink it, take a little more.
He'd always sit down at the end of his show, and he would drink that sip of wine. He would go
Yeah.
like that, and then he would fix him a plate and do all that good stuff. So we said, look, we gotta have a wine. We gotta have a wine. I'm just gonna finish cooking these bell peppers up.
Got what? Green bell pepper, red bell pepper.
We got red, we got green in here. We got some fresh tomatoes from Sean and them here.
Okay.
And this is a Coubillon, pork bouillon. It does a lot of it has a little tomato base to it. The French version of this don't always have a little tomato to it,
right?
But I like it.
Yeah.
And it's really good. A nice good acid flavor to it. And the bell peppers with the juices and the colors are great. It's like the Trinity in there.
Right.
And you can actually make this Coubillon. This seafood coubillon, or snapper coubillon, what do you want to call it? You can actually do it with the roux. You can make a roux, and then you can cook everything just like you would, like making a gumbo.
Right.
It's the same process. That's how I do it. But I didn't do a roux today with this because we're cut for some time.
Right.
So, but you can do a roux when you're sitting at the house, and you got plenty of time to do it. Make a nice little light Cajun roux. There's 2 types of roux. There's a Cajun roux and there's a Creole roux.
Right.
Creole roux is a little more of a peanut butter color, and the Cajun roux is a little darker. I like, of course, the Cajun roux.
Right.
I like to stir my roux for a good 30 to 45 minutes on a nice medium-low fire. And
Let that flour brown out.
Let it brown out. As long as you got a wooden spoon, like this right here.
Right.
This is one of our snake spoons that we sell on the market. These are custom-made spoons. Comes out of New Iberia, Louisiana, and they're custom-made. And it's a contoured spoon. And this is the spoon that I cook with. And we also sell roux spoons by Justin as well. And they're Louisiana cypress.
I was about to ask. It looks like cypress to
They're
me.
Louisiana cypress. This spoon will last 100 years if you pass it on down to your grandkids, I guarantee. So, good cypress spoon is something that'll last.
Yeah.
And so always get you a good wooden spoon, and nothing like having a certified Cajun product in your hand when you're cooking good Cajun food.
Do me a favor for the people who aren't around here. Tell me what this Trinity is that you've been talking about. Because some of our viewers might not know what that Cajun Trinity is.
Well, the Cajun Trinity is onion, bell pepper, and celery. That's it. Onion, bell pepper, celery. Onion, bell pepper, celery. That's it. It's 3 things.
And that's pretty much the base of every
I
seafood
tell
dish in
you what,
Louisiana,
you
right?
can make anything if you got the Trinity in it.
Right.
You know, and they call it the Holy Trinity or the Trinity. You know, it's bell pepper, onion, and celery, and it cooks down, and all those flavors and all those juices and everything caramelizes out, and then add a little bit of salt and pepper to it, and you get those flavors up, and you dump that into your pot, and that's your base right there.
Right.
That gets those flavors going, and then if you're cooking like we are here today, we add that to it.
Right.
You know, and we build those flavors up, and you always have to taste as you cook. You know, you just can't put a whole bunch of ingredients in here without tasting where your flavors are.
Right.
And what I like to do is always add my salt and my seasoning. A lot of it I add at the very end.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
It's not salty.
Right.
You know, it's going to have the salt level of where I want it when I'm done. But you want to cook without salt.
Right.
Because you can always add the salt to the end. And of course, the seasoning that we use in this recipe is going to be the Justin Wilson original blend right here. Low sodium, more flavor, and that's going to give us our nice little kick. And I might top it off with the habanero if it needs it.
Right.
It might not need it. You want to have it a nice settle flavor there.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned doing the spices at the end, because I think a lot of people think of Cajun food is just so spicy that your nose is running, your eyes are boiling. You know what I'm
That is
saying?
such a misnomer, and I don't know why that got started, but everywhere it came from, I swear I just like to kick them.
Right.
Because that is not true. Cajun food's flavorful. What defines Cajun food is the way you cook it and the way you prepare it. You prepare it the Cajun way.
Right.
And that's what makes it Cajun. You can make anything Cajun style food as long as you prepare it properly. And it don't have to be spicy. Okay, now yes, a lot of Cajun foods and a lot of the stuff that we cook definitely has a spice kick to it.
Because we like it.
Because we like it.
Right.
But you know what? You don't have to have it spicy. You don't have to have it so hot that it burns your mouth.
Right.
And that's what happens when people from different parts of the country, over side of California and all the way up to New York, they just jack it up with a lot of cayenne pepper.
Right.
And they say, oh, that's Cajun. Or they get a bunch of hot sauce and put on it and say, hey, I made Cajun wings, it's loaded in hot sauce. You know, that's not true.
No.
Just like when we go up there and we try to mimic one of their dishes, they look at us and say, oh, no, that's not how you do it.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing. So,
But I tell you what, I'll trade them everything they got for this, no doubt.
you know what? I mentioned New York earlier. I spent quite a few years in New York filming those cooking shows up there.
Right.
And the reason we did it was to teach people how to cook in New York City, how to cook authentic Southern Cajun food in New York City. And we did it. You know, you can get the ingredients up there. You just got to know where to go and what to do. So,
How many of them did you turn?
what's that?
How many of them did you turn?
Oh, everybody. We did big shows and events,
Right.
and everybody loved it. They just loved the product. They loved the foods, and they were like, "Wow, this is really good." Now, yeah, a few of them said, "Oh, that's a little too spicy for me." And I said, "Well, you know, the spice comes from the particular seasoning that we're using, or the amount of peppers we're using.
Right.
So you could actually tone that down, and so you can modify these recipes as your own." And that's what they would do. But they love Cajun Southern food. There's nothing like going up south, up north, and getting true authentic Cajun food done the right way.
Right.
And that's what we were trying to accomplish with the show. Hence the name Cajun in the City. And it worked really well. They loved it. They enjoyed it. And, you know, we enjoyed doing it. And I think to this day, people are still cooking some authentic Cajun food up there because of us.
Right. Well, that's good. What do you see, any future products from Justin Wilson besides the red wine you got coming out?
We have a steak sauce that'll be in production eventually. We have a seafood boil mix crawfish boil mix that's on the market. It's going to be.
That's the bag powder form?
Yeah, it comes in a gallon jug right
Right.
now, but we're having it done in 1 gallon bags.
Right.
So that way somebody don't need a whole gallon. They just want to boil a small little area,
Right.
little shrimp and stuff. They can do it. And we got a few other things that we're working on. We actually have a Justin Wilson Louisiana Ghost Pepper Sauce coming out.
Woo.
It's a spinoff of our Louisiana pepper sauce,
Right.
which is a gourmet pepper sauce.
Yep.
But it's made with Louisiana ghost peppers, and it is some kind of fine. I'm not a ghost pepper fan by any means. That stuff is really hot.
It'll get you.
But us developing that recipe, I had to experiment with a lot of samples. And man, it took a while to get those flavors right.
Right.
I think we got it. It's hot, it's spicy, it's got that ghost pepper kick, but I tell you what, you also taste the flavors of all the peppers and the ingredients we have in that bottle.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it special.
Right. It's good. It's not just hot. It's good.
It's when it hits the market, I promise you, it's going to be the finest Louisiana ghost pepper sauce on the market.
You guarantee.
I guarantee. We're just the torch holders of Justin's legacy right now.
Right.
While we have it, and then once we're done and moved on, it'll go to hopefully another torch holder, and Justin will keep growing and
Right.
growing and living on.
Yeah. Because in a lot of people's eyes, he'll never be forgotten.
That's
So
right.
My grandpa had the old. He would record them on videotapes. Justin Wilson cooking.
Oh
It's
yeah,
hilarious
yeah.
to
They
watch.
they love recording it, and we actually got the Justin Wilson cookie shows being produced right now on DVD.
Right.
That'll be coming in about maybe 3 to 4 months. The DVDs,
Okay.
and that way people can get the shows on DVD and they can
Right.
watch it. Now you can stream it, you can download, you can watch it right now on YouTube. But some people like the DVD.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people still do.
So we're having the DVDs produced, and that'll be coming out pretty soon.
It'll work. It's smelling good for sure.
It really is. I'm finishing up with this bell pepper right here, and I'm going to go and slice up this red snapper and get that in there.
Now, do y'all use cast iron a lot when you're cooking?
I love cooking with cast iron. It's my favorite, especially when you're doing a big pot like this. This is one of our medium-sized enamel cast iron
Right.
pots that we use. Some people call it a Dutch oven.
Right.
And Justin cooked with a Dutch oven type of aluminum, actually.
Well, let me ask you about another myth that's been down here. Some people have told me that you can't put tomatoes in a cast iron skillet.
Well, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't because the tomatoes are very acidic,
Right.
and I don't recommend it at all. And
Right.
another thing you shouldn't do with the cast iron is put it in a damn dishwasher.
So yeah,
You know?
so
Woo, you put a cast iron skillet in the dishwasher, watch
Bad
somebody come unglued.
yeah, just
you
leave
know.
it greasy.
But yeah, I don't recommend putting cast iron in tomatoes,
Right.
or a high acidic base
Because it
with
eats
it
the cast
because
iron.
yeah. Now I've seen people do it, and you can do it, but you better clean it and you better oil it. You better re-season it
Right.
really fast because if not, you're gonna start getting it messed up. It can get pitted, it can get rusty. What I'm doing with this snapper here is I'm cutting it up in large chunks and I'm laying it down in this hot olive oil. I love cooking with olive oil. And you can cook with vegetable oil, you can cook with coconut oil, you can cook with a lot of different things. But I really like cooking with olive oil. But you got to cook fast with it because olive oil burns fast.
Got a
So
hot
that vegetable
tip,
oil. But it's a good flavor. It changes the flavor. Vegetable oil to me don't have any type of flavor to it when you're doing this.
Okay.
Vegetable oil is good for frying French fries and that type of stuff. And I prefer olive oil. It's really good to
So
cook
now,
with.
no rhyme or reason. We're just chunking this up right now, right?
Yeah, I'm just chunking it up. I'm just making some big and medium chunks here with it. I'm frying it a little bit on each side just to give it a little bit of a crust.
Right.
And then I'm gonna put it over in the Dutch oven over here and finish cooking down the courgette and making that soup, that base, that slow boil broth that they want to call it.
All right. It's kind of seared you just a little bit.
That's right. Yep, just searing them a little bit because they're gonna cook. It don't take to poach fish in a hot liquid. It don't take long to cook this, and once you put everything in there with this type of recipe, you don't want to be stirring a whole lot of it. You don't want to come back and stir it a lot because
Let it sit and marinate.
you want let it sit and cook because the fish will start coming apart, and then you just got the fish falling apart on there, and you still want it chunky. And then you lay it over a nice bed of rice.
Okay.
And then you put the juice on it, the broth and everything, and you eat it like that right there. So that looks like somebody's calling us right now on the hotline. You know,
Probably want some red snapper.
I'm sure they do. You know, so maybe they can come on down and get some.
Are the Justin Wilson shows still airing as we speak?
Funny you say that. We aired nationwide on RFD TV. We're in 5.3 million households per week.
Really?
On RFD TV, it's a cable channel.
Okay.
It's it's geared towards rural America, farm America, agriculture, rodeos, and stuff like that. And it's a pretty big station.
Right.
And they air the Justin Wilson Easy Cooking Series every Saturday at 3:30 Central Time here on the coast. You can catch it, or anywhere Central. It comes on at 3:30.
Okay.
And that's Justin Wilson Easy Cooking. We're on PBS. We're on XXV in Ocean Springs.
Right.
We're on Louisiana Public Broadcast. We're on Bruce the Alligator Man's channel, which is out of Opelousas, Louisiana.
Okay.
He was on History Channel,
Right.
and he does a Justin segment. He does a couple a week using Justin shows and stuff, and putting together him cooking some of his Cajun recipes there
Along
in his
with
house.
Justin. Yeah.
Man, can you smell that?
It smells amazing.
Woo! That is good stuff.
Got a little pot liquor in the bottom of there.
Yeah, yep. Searing up pretty good. I think this is going to be good, Joey.
Now this dish, if we weren't pressed for time, what do you give it time-wise? Prep and all of
Well,
that.
the proper way to do this in this type of recipe, once you prep and you cook and you put everything in the pot and you put the lid down on it, it's about a 3 to 4 hour recipe.
Right.
Because it just gets all those juices flowing and gets everything out.
Kinda
And that's
marries
why,
everything
yeah,
together.
and they say don't stir it. Once you put the meat in there, which is the fish, you just leave it.
Right.
You know. But we sped up the process. We pre-cooked a lot of things here today for the show, so we're gonna actually get to taste some of this before we end the show.
That's what I'm
and you can
talking
tell me
about.
what you think.
That's
And-
the main reason why I came.
That's right. Now, of course, we're gonna put a little bit of wine in here.
All right.
We're gonna cook with a little bit of the wine. It's gonna bring the temp down just a little bit. And now this fish is going to like steam cook with the olive oil in the pan. And that does a little magical dance
Yeah.
there, as you can see.
Get all that stuff off the bottom,
That's
deglazing
right.
the pot.
Yeah, that's right. And then you can really get it going. Let's see if we can get the temp up on this here.
It smells delicious.
It really is. And as you notice, I haven't put any season or nothing on this because
Right.
you want to get the flavors of the fish and everything before where you know what you're tasting, and before you start adding a bunch of salt and a bunch of other stuff to it, and before you know you got too much of one thing.
Right.
So it's also going to have a few little shrimp in here too. We grabbed some shrimp here at Desport's and put in there too. You can't have a courgette without a few little shrimp sprinkles,
Right.
you know?
Now this, I mean, you can just about use any flaky fish for this recipe, right?
You can. A
Redfish,
lot of
anything?
people use catfish.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people use catfish for a court bouillon, courgette.
Right.
You know, I happen to use red snapper today. Since we're here at Desport's, we got some fresh fillets here, and I grabbed a couple nice fillets to cook up with. I personally like red snapper, and I just thought that would be a a wonderful treat here for us today.
No doubt.
Doing one of Justin's original, famous old Coupillon recipes,
Right.
Louisiana style.
No doubt. It smells. What's this cocktail sauce you got going on right here?
Well, that is actually some of the tomato paste there.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That I made up before we started.
I gotcha. Oh, it's cocktail sauce.
It looks like it, yeah. I almost picked up the drink. I thought it was a Bloody Mary earlier, but it's crushed tomatoes, and it goes into the to the broth here. If I need it, it's got some in it already, but I always try to have enough on the table here to get everything going. So, and let that cook down. Let's bring the fire up on this a little bit.
Now, all these, all your spoons and products and everything like that is found on your website, right? If somebody wants to track them down.
Yeah, JWSP.com. You can get everything there. All of our products, the CDs, the seasoning, the spices, the books,
Okay.
aprons, cookware, the spoons. All of that is available at JustinWilson.com. We ship nationwide, 3 to 4 days ship out, and then they head right to your house. So you can get everything right there locally. So.
And I'm sure y'all are on social media as well, right?
Yeah, we're on Facebook every day. You know, we got Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. You know, all that good stuff.
What would old Justin think about Snapchat?
Oh man, I don't know. I think you'd probably have fun with it. You know, Justin
You think so?
Justin always had a good time with everything.
Right.
So I think he would really like it. And
You know you would.
it's all right. Let's get a little bit of lemon on this snapper here. But have you ever had Louisiana style coupillon like this?
My grandfather used to cook a redfish coupillon. Now, if it was the same thing, I don't know.
It's,
It was good.
I'm sure it's similar,
Right?
you know, but everybody's recipe is a little different,
Okay.
you know. So have you looked over here at this? You know, look. Look at that. Woo. And that right there is just cooking all down. So you know, that's got to be good. Got to be good. You know, you smell it though, right?
I can smell it from here.
I'm gonna cook this snapper down a little bit more. Then we're gonna put it in there, and then we're gonna let that do its little thing. So we're getting really close to putting that in there.
Now, I'm guessing this is your traveling chef station, right?
Yeah, this is how we pretty much do it when we do a lot of the shows.
Right.
This is a simple setup. Take that. And that's straight out of the
Pretty
pan.
tough.
Straight out of the pan with a little bit of butter, no seasoning on that, a little bit of lemon juice, and working with that broth in there. You know.
And making it fresh.
Yeah.
That makes all the
No,
difference.
it's
in the
fresh.
world.
It really is.
Right.
Let me get another bite.
Go ahead. Delicious.
All right, wonderful. All right, I think we're done enough with the pan.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead.
Dump the whole thing in there, huh?
And we're gonna put them all in here like this.
All right.
And you can see I'm not dumping it. I'm laying the fish in here.
Just try not to break it up too
That's
much.
right. I want to, and the fish is not 100% fully cooked.
Right.
It's going to finish cooking inside this pot here. And I want to keep them as solid chunks as possible. That way it just stays together. It keeps those flavors tight and makes for a better presentation overall. Get done with that there. Our spoon back. And what
I need to give me one of them spoons.
Oh, these are our snake spoons, sir.
Yeah.
We sell right-handed and left-handed root spoons. People say, what's the difference between a left-handed root spoon and a right-handed root spoon? And I'm like, if you're left-handed, you know that.
Right.
You know, are you left-handed?
No, sir.
Okay.
I got my youngest daughter's left-handed.
Pick up a left-handed root spoon, and you'd be like, yeah, I get it now.
Right.
You know.
Shaping the head, shaping the stem.
Yeah, well, it's contoured. It's contoured to lefties. So.
Right. So we do this way, and they do this.
So a root spoon, you know, usually you're using your right hand, and when you're doing your roux, you're going counterclockwise, okay? And the way the root spoon's made, it's got a contoured edge on one side, made to go counterclockwise.
Right.
And then on the right-handed ones, it's the opposite direction.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's it's one of our put some of these shrimp here. It's one of our big sellers, believe it or not.
I bet.
It's the left-handed root spoon, and so I just put the shrimp in there. I did not saute those shrimp. I didn't put them on the fire. You don't need it. This
Right.
boil is warm enough that these shrimp are just going to cook just like that.
It don't take long with them
It
shrimp.
don't take long at all, and a lot of people like to add the shrimp towards the end because it don't take long. But since we're working like this, we're going to throw them in there.
Right.
And this right here is a little bit of Worcestershire that
Okay.
Justin's recipe calls for, and we're gonna put a little bit in there. And we got a little bit of garlic.
Gotta have
Now we're adding the flavorings
that. Right.
to this. Is what we're doing. We're adding the flavorings. A little more chopped tomato there.
Now, some people will argue that the garlic needs to be in the Trinity. And do you believe in that?
I put garlic in the Trinity
I
sometimes.
do too. I put it in everything every time I do it.
I cook with bacon sometimes in the Trinity. Just as long as you got those three basic ingredients, onion, celery, and a bell pepper. Everything else is you can just go with. You make
Right.
a Trinity gumbo if you want to. So just keep that in mind. Put a little bit of wine in here. We not only drink the wine,
We eat it as well. That's
we
it.
cook with it as well.
That's
You know,
awesome.
what I like to do is cut up some lemons, and I just lay some lemons right down in here on top of that broth, and it just that lemon's a slow release. When you cut them thick like this, it's like a slow release and lets all that out.
Right.
Now keep it in mind, everybody loves butter.
No doubt. Real butter.
Real butter.
Real butter. We
Real butter.
mess with
I
that fake stuff.
don't use margarine. I use real butter. It costs more, but guess what? It's worth it.
No doubt.
We're gonna
It
put the
smells
lid,
good.
put the lid back on that, and a little bit of pepper.
With black pepper.
Yeah, a little black pepper, not much. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a taste. This is where I go in, and I want to taste my seasoning levels.
Okay. Getting close.
Ooh,
Getting close.
that is so good.
Ooh,
But I am a big fan of Justin Wilson products, so I'm going to add a little bit of Cajun flavor to it. Justin's original blend. And then just let that get in there because that way, something like this will work for everybody. And,
Right.
And if they want a little bit of extra,
Just add a little bit on the side.
yeah, just add a little bit to it. But I definitely want it coming out tasting right. So we're going to bring this up to a high fire, and then we're just going to cook the mess out of it.
Okay.
You know, and let that start boiling and get those flavors and those juices going. So, other than that, that is the standard Cuvion recipe that we do here.
And all that's in that cookbook, right? Correct?
Yes, it is. The way I did it's a little bit different because I like to add a few little things to it and
Okay.
everything. But that recipe is in Gourmet Gourmand, and so you can grab it offline. I don't think that recipe is available for download. We got so many recipes with the Justin brand that I just don't know. But
Okay.
if somebody wants to email me or email the company, I'm sure we can get them a copy of it. And then a recipe is a guideline.
Right.
So use it as a guideline, make it your own, and just get in the kitchen and start cooking. You know?
I think that's true Cajun cooking anywhere. I mean, you got your layout, but everybody's got that one little thing that they like different from everybody else, and they throw it on there and make
That's
it
right.
their own.
Everybody adds stuff to it and makes it their own. I'm going to make a little bed of rice here for the Cuvion, just like that there. Everybody loves fresh rice. Now, what I like to do with the rice is the type of rice that I cook with, especially with my Louisiana and my Cajun dishes, is I use a parboiled rice.
Okay.
Parboiled rice. Have you heard of parboiled rice?
No, tell us about it.
Have you seen parboiled
I've
rice?
heard of it, yes sir.
Parboiled rice is basically a type of uncooked, pre-cooked, pre-boiled rice.
Okay.
And so when you cook with it, and you boil it down, you see how flaky it
Right,
is?
yeah, it's
It ain't
all
all
sticking
sticky and
together.
gummy and everything.
Right.
And this rice is wonderful for gumbos. It's thick, heavy grains,
Right.
and it's got a wonderful flavor. And you can cook this in a little bit of Justin Original seasoning and get a little bit of flavor.
Right.
You can cook it in a little bit of chicken broth, and you give this rice a whole new flavor.
While you're boiling.
Yeah, and it holds really good. And if you cook a whole bunch of it, put it in a Ziploc bag, throw it in the refrigerator, and 2 or 3 days later, it's still good.
Right.
That gummy rice,
Now you just throw it
yeah,
out.
it just turns all gummy.
And half of it sticks to the bag.
Half of it sticks in the bag. This right here is a great rice. So just remember, if you try the parboiled rice, and cook it and stir it, and cook it and stir it,
Right.
and then you'll come out with rice like that there. So that's what I like to do, and it makes a big difference. It really does.
Right.
So other than that, that is the Coupillon recipe that we like to do.
So how the name? How do you think we mispronounce that name so bad?
Because we don't know how to spell, you know.
Yeah.
And we down south, we say things the way it's written out,
Right.
because that's just how we were taught. And you know, and just court bouillon.
Court
That's
bouillon
why,
turned into
you know,
Coupillon.
C-O-R-T bouillon. You know, court is coup, and I'm like, well, hell. Nobody would have guessed that down here unless you were familiar with it or you heard it pronounced properly, or you Googled it and it said proper pronunciation.
Right.
You
Which
know.
it wasn't even invented then. You
That's
just
right.
go with what somebody heard.
That's right. And you know, I've always called it court bouillon, and you know, and then
I've always heard it called Coupillon.
yeah, coupillon.
Yeah.
And I've heard it called coupillon too,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just say it's easy to come out and say, good old court bouillon. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. I'm gonna add a little bit of these chopped green onion
Okay.
to the coupillon here.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with fresh green
No.
onion tops. Look at that.
It looks
Rolling right
amazing.
along, right?
Yeah, it looks good.
And just served over a nice bed of rice is just fantastic, you know. But all these flavors and everything is comes from the Justin product line and the recipes, of course. So when you're at home and cooking, if you're not cooking with Justin Wilson products, you're not cooking Cajun.
Right.
You know, unless you're making everything from scratch. A lot of people come and say, "No, we don't need your seasoning because we make our own." And I said, "That is fantastic." I'm
Correct.
glad. 'Cause, you know, most people don't make their own seasonings anymore in the kitchen.
Right.
They go to the store and they get pre-made blends like this. You know, there's a market for making your own, which I used to make my own seasoning. Still don't like make my own. So if you make your own at home, go for it. But if you don't want to make your own, try the Justin brand.
I like
You know,
it.
we got
I've
them here.
tested it. It's good.
Up front here at Desports, and we got them in all Rouse's markets in all states: Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi, and growing.
Right. Now Rouse is from Louisiana, right?
Yeah, Rouse's, their regional stores out of Thibodaux, Louisiana. That's where the corporate headquarters are.
Right.
And they got about 74 locations, and we're in about 65 of them, and working to get to those others.
Over in Florida. You said you're moving into Florida.
They're looking into property in Florida. They do want to go into Florida. They want to have 100 stores eventually, called the Century Mark.
Right.
So they want to get some more stores over there. And we're happy because, you know, that's more stores for us. Rouse is good to us. We love it. We love going there. But with this COVID stuff going on, they shut down all the demos.
Right.
And so we're just not having that type of good time anymore until they can
Open it back up.
We can start getting out there because we love the people. We love
Right.
traveling and seeing people. People love Justin. They
Right.
love seeing us out there doing things. So, and we love it. You know, we had so many schedules across the South from Alabama to Louisiana doing the Justin events. And then all that came to a screeching halt, as you know. Here we are today.
Now, on a typical Justin event, is this typically what happens when y'all set up a little cooktop and then cook one of his recipes, or how does that work?
Yeah, this is basically what we do. I don't do coupillon when I'm doing the demos, but we do something what we call Louisiana swamp chicken. It's where I buy the chicken breast from Rouse's and I cube it up and I season it with only a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of Justin Wilson Original. We put it in little cups and we hand it out. And people come by and they're shopping and they might have bought another brand of seasoning in their buggy.
Right.
And I go, what do you got there? And they go, oh, I got some of this. I go, try this. And they try it and they go, and they hand me theirs and they take the Justin off the table. And every time we close up shop and leave, we're going back to the aisles and we're restocking the stuff that they gave us.
Right.
And because they took the Justin. We
works.
love it. It
Right.
works, you know. We did our job.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
we did our
These
job.
are usually in the Rouses and stuff where y'all do these events, or just
Yeah,
anything?
well, those are in all the Rouse's markets.
Right.
And but we do them all around the state in different events and festivals. We do Sunflower, we do Piggly Wigglies, we do corner markets, we do local ones up north Mississippi in different places. But mostly the Rouse's keeps us really busy.
Right.
And then we branch out and do a few other privately owned places. So we love it.
Yeah.
We can get there. We're just promoting our product, getting it out there, and if you got 10 cases on the shelf that needs to be sold, when we show up, you don't have anything left.
You're gone.
It's gone. And that
Yeah.
just lets us know that, hey, we did our job. Somebody's going to be reordered.
Right.
So,
I got you. Especially if you get to ride around that Corvette out there.
yeah, that's a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun right there. All right, I'm going to cut the fire off there. That's been boiling for a good 5 to 8 minutes. And that fish, trust me, that fish and that shrimp is done. And we're going to get us some good stuff here. So what do you cook at home? You do a lot of Cajun dishes around the house?
We do a lot of, I guess you'd call it old school back bay, the fried mullet and grit, fish and grit, speckled trout, fried white trout.
Right.
We do a gumbo. We do the etouffee. We do a lot of stuff like that.
Good. I hope you're using some good seasonings.
We're using this stuff right here.
Yeah, there you go. That's an habanero there.
Yeah,
that's a habanero.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get any better than that. It is some kind of special. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up.
All right.
Let's see. Let's get some of these little bowls over here.
You get out your way.
But I like to put a little bit of rice in each bowl here, but that way everybody gets a little bit of a sample. And we really appreciate y'all coming out here and letting us come on and take over your show like this.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what we're all about. I mean, you're from Mississippi.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And,
Born and raised in North Mississippi, up in catfish farmland.
Right.
Learned how to cook over at Houma, Louisiana on a tugboat when I was a young whippersnapper out of a little place called Port Fourchon.
Yep.
Ever heard of Port Fourchon?
I have.
That's some good fishing.
Good fishing down there
And
for sure.
I learned how to cook. I was a deckhand in my early 20s, at 19, 20,
Right.
and my captains there on the tugboat were French Creole, and they spoke French. And they spoke French and English. And I learned how to cook authentic Cajun and French food on that damn tugboat.
Right.
And fell in love with it. And me and one of the captains there, some mornings when the tide was low there in Fourchon, we would go with a 5-gallon bucket and a rake and a little net, and we would go around to the bulkheads and go apple snail picking. You ever heard of apple snails? Have you seen the snails that they're saying that's an invasive species
Oh, right,
down in
yeah,
Louisiana?
yeah. Right.
And please don't eat.
In the crawfish field.
Well, we ate the shit out of them.
Really?
We would come back with a half a 5-gallon bucket of these apple snails.
Right.
We would rinse them off, and we would boil them in seafood boil mix, and dip them in butter, and bend a fork over, and dip them out, and eat them, and dip them in that butter, and that Cajun butter. And you talking about good.
Good, yeah.
And now they're saying, don't eat the apple snail. Let me tell you something. That's good stuff. And I learned how to cook doing stuff like that. So, even neutral, they call it neutral wrap.
I had this conversation the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me if you ever eat neutral wrap.
It's
delicious.
really good. It's really good. It's I don't call it a neutral wrap. I just call it a nutrient. It's,
Right.
It ain't like a wrap. I don't know why they call it a wrap. It's really not a rodent. It only eats. It only eats the it eats the grass. It eats the marsh grass. It's a vegetarian, so it's a very lean and clean meat.
Right.
And it's really good. I really enjoyed it. And if I could get some right now, I would eat it. I caught my first alligator in Houma,
Okay.
and I ate it off the boat. Had a shelf there on the boat, and he says, hey, he called me T-Ken. He said, hey, T-Ken, you go out there, and you catch an alligator, I'll cook it.
Right.
And so I worked my ass off, and I had the bait out and was going, and I caught me about a 5-footer, 4.5 to 5-footer, you know. He got him in on the boat and everything, and man, we ate him. We had alligator sauce for Conn, and you talking about something kind of fine. And first alligator I'd caught, and I ate it.
Right.
So kind of
all the way around.
kind of spread my wings there and got my white boot certified.
Right.
You know,
shrimp boot.
that's what happened. You know. So, all right. Let's go ahead and plate some of this up here. Let's get a few little good little bites
Of everything and the juice. That's what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking
the
about.
juice is something really special.
Yeah.
Get you a shrimp in there. Get you a nice chunk of this
Red snapper.
this snapper. All right. Now, this is hot, so you're gonna have to let it cool off. Well, let's just go ahead and start setting them
let's
up
plate 'em
right
up.
here.
Plate 'em
We'll
up.
go ahead and plate them up there. Here, why don't you hold that for me?
That'll work.
And we're gonna get you to working over here in the kitchen.
I can do that.
All right. Better yet, it might be a little different for it. I'll just hand them to you.
Okay.
How's that?
I'll go run it down the line.
But this is Justin Wilson's Louisiana style coubillon. This is famous red snapper.
Ooh, it's hot.
Yes, it is. As you notice, we've been cooking over here for quite a while.
Yep.
And I think everybody's going to enjoy this. And now you can cook, you can put oysters in coubillon. You can put the shrimp in there too, and you can cook it different ways. It may not be traditional,
Right. But that's the whole
standard,
part
but
of it.
that's the whole part of us cooking down south and doing old Louisiana recipes. We kind of do it our own way. Now I did a little bit of spin on this here because I added some fresh shrimp to it because I just like shrimp, and I think shrimp goes in everything.
Right. But
You
that's
know?
not in a traditional coubillon recipe.
No, it's not. But it
Just
does.
the fish.
But yeah, just the fish. So it doesn't mean you can't do it.
Right.
So, but I mean, hey, there's no rules to what you can do and what you can't do. Because I just love breaking the rules, especially when it comes to cooking, because
Eat what you like.
that's just what we do. You know,
Right.
we love to cook.
Well, I see some mouth watering over here.
Man, this is good stuff.
For
Now,
sure.
this has been a while since I've cooked this dish. I'm glad I picked it. I thought it would be a good recipe to kind of show off the products here at Desports.
Right.
Sean's got a beautiful place here. What do you think?
And this is just open, right? This is new.
He just opened, yeah. He just opened here about a week ago.
Yeah, it's awesome
brand
in here.
new, beautiful facility, seafood and fish market right here. You get everything you possibly need.
Right?
Fresh crawfish during the season. Always you get your shrimp and everything.
And your Justin Wilson product.
And you got the Justin Wilson. That's really the main reason why you should come here is to just get those Justin Wilson products and say, hey, you know,
Right.
load me up. So
That's it. That looks delicious.
let me plate up this big one here for the
Yeah.
main presentation. But man, we've had a good time here today, and I
Absolutely.
really hope you've enjoyed coming out here with us and hanging out and letting me be on your show and getting you Brownwater boys get educated a little bit about a few little things that we're doing today.
Absolutely.
So
We'll take it. We'll take it and pass it
but
on.
basically the fastest way to make some good friends is to feed them.
Right?
You know, and not only feed them, but feed them damn good.
That's right.
You know,
You gotta watch that though. Sometimes they won't leave. They'll be over your house
you
all the
got
time.
that right. You got that right. Now we're gonna top it off with a little bit of green onion tops here.
We love you, Casey.
Woo, we love you, I guarantee.
Justin Wilson. Woo!
All right. And let's see here what we got. Let's
little lemon.
Little lemon right there across the top.
Presentation is key.
It really is. A little squirt on the top there. Fish and lemon just go hand in hand. So that's why I do that. Love it. Well, that looks really good, don't it?
That looks amazing.
And if somebody don't get to eat today, they're not hungry.
Nope.
And that's the way that is, you know. All right, well, you can't stop until you get a glass of wine.
That's it.
Man, this is good stuff. I can't wait to eat. Can't wait till you try it with everybody here.
I'm ready.
Joey, it has been a pleasure. Thanks for coming out and being here today with us here at Death Force, and thank y'all for letting us come and be on the show.
Absolutely.
And I think we could maybe do something like this once a week. What do
We'll
you
do
think?
it whenever you're ready.
You know, that
We
sounds
can
good.
clear the schedule.
Good job, man.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so
yes,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, Brownwater boys. It's good stuff. I guarantee.
That's it. And that's Brownwater Banter. You know where to find us. This is Ken Conn with Justin Wilson, Southern Products. See y'all later.
JWSP.com.